anyone?
Is Steph available?
Oh, I hadn't anticipated that question. Steph will not play tonight. Very likely to play Tuesday night. Just made the decision based on giving him the extra few days and the fact that he only scrimmaged yesterday. So when you've been out 5 weeks, you want to play in the playoffs. I don't think one scrimmage is enough, even though he feels great and he wants to play and pleaded his case. But we're going to sit him tonight and very likely to play game 2.
Steve, you were mentioning about him pleading his case. What was kind of his selling points with that?
Just said he feels great and he's ready to go. But that's what I expected, and it's a great sign. You know, it's a much better answer than my knee still hurts. So I like his answer. It's just you know, we have to protect him from himself and his own competitive desire, and so Bob and Chelsea and I conferred with him, and then we sort of put our heads together and made this decision.
I know you don't want to. Oh.
Steve, when did you make a decision? And second of all, Steph was saying yesterday that there's certain boxes he wants to check. What boxes are left to remain to be checked for him before he's truly available?
I think just going through the next few days before Tuesday night and making sure he's still feeling good and holding up well. As I said, he scrimmaged yesterday and felt good. Felt good this morning. So he'll scrimmage again tomorrow. We'll bring in some of our guys, and he'll get more work tomorrow, and a full practice with the whole team Monday. And as I said, I fully expect him to play Tuesday night.
Steve, I respect your comment from last week that you weren't going to tell us your starting lineups, but in this case, given that Andre has started, will you stick with him?
There are no conditions to my early pre-playoff proclamation. I will not be revealing lineups. Thanks for the question.
Yep.
When did you decide to hold Steph? This morning, this afternoon?
This morning.
Okay.
Yeah. Talked to Bob, talked to Chelsea, talked to Steph, and after shoot-around is what we decided.
When he does come back, will Steph have any restrictions, a minute limit? Will you be watching to see discomfort, that type of thing?
There could be a minutes restriction. We'll have to determine that Tuesday.
How about bench rule? I know last time in the playoffs you brought him off the bench. Is that out of the question this time around?
I think everything is a possibility. You know, it's if there's a minutes restriction, then maybe we would consider bringing him off the bench just for the timing purposes. But you know, at this point, it's hard to say.
What is different about Rajon Rondo's game now than about 5 years ago?
Nothing. And I'm not trying to be funny. Nothing. He's always been like this. He's just a wicked smart point guard. He sees everything on the floor. He reminds me a lot of Andre. Andre's obviously more of a forward. And Rondo's a point guard, but they see the game the same way. They see the chessboard before everybody else, and he's fun to watch.
When you kind of overruled Steph and said, hey, we've decided you're not going to play tonight, what was his reaction?
He just nodded his head. He understood. I gave him my reasoning, and that was it. I mean, he didn't, he pleaded his case yesterday after the scrimmage, and we said, let's convene in the morning, and when we did this morning, I told him he was, I mean, he wasn't happy, but he understood, and so we moved forward.
Steve, with your big men and the challenges that you've talked about with Davis, how have you kind of prepared them for the challenge?
Well, we've watched a lot of tape, and the playoffs are always great because you can really zero in on tendencies and themes, and you try to locate the things that you can take away and sort of accept the things that you can't, and then you play the odds. And if you can play 48 minutes where you're following a solid game plan, sending guys to their weakest areas, keeping from making silly mistakes and letting easy baskets be scored, then you let the chips fall, and that's the whole thing in the playoffs. there's so much time to prepare. So you got to prepare and you got to be ready for whatever's coming.
Coach Kerr, outside of Davis, Miritich, Drew, who else do you see who's making big contributions for the Pelicans?
Well, they had a great series against Portland. I thought their bench played well too. It wasn't just their big four. I mean, they got good contributions periodically throughout the series from Ian Clark and each one more. Solomon Hill came in, played well. So that's what the playoffs are about. You know, the stars have to be stars, and then you just want your role guys to step in and hit a shot here and there and defend and take care of the ball. And so their bench is not heralded. This is a team that is everyone's going to talk about Davis and Holiday, Rondo, Miritich, as they should. Those guys are great players, but their bench is solid and they're doing a nice job.
I asked Alvin earlier if there's ever a chance where you don't want to run, where his team doesn't want to play fast. He said no. He said they always want to play fast. Do you agree with that assessment? Are you the same way, where there's no situation where it's not beneficial?
We always want to play fast too, but there's always a balance. We don't want to play dumb. So fast and smart is the way to go, and you got to find that balance. And so fast is great, but fast and fundamentally sound is the name of the game.
Steve, Clay had some pretty remarkable shooting numbers in the first round. What's been clicking for him?
He's just being himself. I mean, this is who Clay is. He hits hard shots and he hits transition threes, and he moves incredibly well without the ball. And I think he's in the prime of his career emotionally too, where he's got the ultimate confidence. I think when you've won championships and you've performed at a high level in the playoffs and the finals, you get used to that and you expect that. But early in your career, when you're in a big playoff situation for the first time, you might not quite know how to prepare for it. But I think Clay is he's just in a groove and in his prime, and he's confident night in and night out.
Steve, as you watched tape in preparation for this series, do you notice any differences between Miritich with the Bulls and Miritich now with the Pelicans?
He looks a lot like the Miritich last year in the playoffs when Rondo was next to him. I think that's no coincidence. I think it's a really good pairing. Rondo likes the floor spaced, and Miritich, as a four-man, spaces the floor as well as anybody. So they're a great pairing, and I think everybody plays better when you play with great players. So coming here to play with Davis was a real blessing for Miritich, and the team just looks like it fits. The puzzle fits together beautifully, and I think it suits Alvin's eye. This is his kind of team, and they are playing extremely well.
Hey Steve, given that Andre and Quinn and Sean are different players and have different qualities, what's that done for you guys in terms of flexibility when you look at when Steph was out there in the regular season and this last first round series?
Well, they all complement each other well. Quinn can play off the ball or on the ball. Sean's a guy we look to for scoring, especially with Steph out. Andre's just a jack of all trades, and they can all play together too. So versatility is key for us, and all those guys fill important roles.
Great, thank you. Alvin will be in here in just a minute.